The office of one late president closed for good this past weekend. We'll tell you more about it. And we have new developments in a Whitley County murder case where a woman was killed and her baby died just days later. And one U.S. city now has Narcan available by vending machine. We'll tell you how it's making a difference.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Connor James. The time is about 6:31 on this Monday morning. Let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast. And thankfully, Brandon, the cold weather will soon be gone, hopefully.
Yes, but not this morning and not today, because the chill is going to be in the air for much of your Monday. But guess what? It's a new month, so welcome to April 1st today. Let's take a look across the region this morning on the camera network. We started McKee and pretty quiet there. A little traffic getting started moving there as we head to the first part of your morning hours. Freeze warning continues until 10 o'clock this morning for most of the area. So again, bundle up as you head out the door. Frost will greet you on your way out the door. 23 to 29. That's the range this morning across the area. Winds cranking in some locations, so it makes it feel a little bit colder. Teens and low 20s for some. Weather app forecast, we head through the daytime hours. Sunshine for a while, a few clouds later on, and temperatures will climb close to 50 in most areas later today. I'll have the rest of the forecast in just a few minutes. Connor?
Thanks, Brandon. Former Vice President Joe Biden says he doesn't believe he's ever acted inappropriately with women, but if he did, it wasn't intentional. CBS's Tony DeCopel reports.
Lucy Flores was a member of the Nevada legislature when she ran for lieutenant governor in 2014. Then Vice President Joe Biden visited the state for a pre-election rally. Flores says he approached her as she prepared to go on stage.
Out of nowhere, I feel Joe Biden put his hands on my shoulders, get up very close to me from behind, lean in, smell my hair, and then plant a slow kiss on the top of my head.
In an article in New York Magazine, Flores wrote that the incident made her feel uneasy, gross, and confused. On Sunday, Biden released a statement that read in part, "In my many years on the campaign trail and in public life, I have offered countless handshakes, hugs, expressions of affection, support, and comfort. And not once, never did I believe I acted inappropriately." White House advisor Kellyanne Conway noted that the allegation came from a fellow Democrat.
I think Joe Biden has a big problem here because he calls it affection and handshakes. His party calls it completely inappropriate.
Biden is said to be weighing a run for the White House, and Flores knows some will question why she waited until now to tell her story. But she says that's the point.
It does not belong in any kind of a professional setting, much less in politics, and that is something that we should consider when we are talking about the background of a person who is considering running for president.
Biden is expected to announce a decision on 2020 in the coming weeks. Tony DeCopel, CBS News, New York.
Senators Bernie Sanders and Amy Klobuchar, two Democrats now running for president, both said on Sunday they see no reason to doubt what Flores is saying about Biden. They added that it's up to him and the voters to make a judgment about it. In the Houston, Texas office of late President George H.W. Bush closed for Good Friday. The senior Bush occupied the office for over a quarter of a century. Staff said he usually arrived early and stayed late and was still coming into the office several days a week during his later years. But Bush passed away on November 30th, 2018 at the age of 94. The George H.W. Bush Presidential Library Foundation will remain in the building. In international news, Morocco said goodbye to the Pope Francis on Sunday. The Catholic leader wrapped up his historic visit with a special mass and various meetings with the country's Christian minority. The pontiff reached out to the kingdom's Muslim majority and called for a greater welcome of its growing number of migrants, urging continuous dialogue between Christians and Muslims. The Pope shook hands with the Moroccan Prime Minister before he boarded the plane. And Norway's king and queen were met by protesters in Chile who were demonstrating against the expansion of salmon farms linked to Norwegian capital in Chilean Patagonia. Demonstrators chanted, quote, "The people will defend the environment," and carried signs that read, quote, "Welcome king and queen, but not your salmon." Well, Laurel County deputies say they're looking for 3 missing children. They're looking for 17-year-old Dalton Robinson, 12-year-old Lindsay Couch, and 15-year-old 15-year-old Mark Fields. Robinson and Couch went missing early Sunday morning, and Fields was last seen on Friday around 6 p.m. Yesterday, deputies said Robinson and Couch might have run away together. If you know where any of these children are, you should call the Laurel County Sheriff's Office at 606-864-6600. In a new development in a Whitley County murder case, a criminal complaint says the same day a woman was shot to death, the suspect, Daniel Nance, and another man, David Huff, held someone at their Whitley County home against their will. Jerry Johnson was taken to the Baptist Health Corbin on March 16th, where she was pronounced dead. She was pregnant, and doctors delivered her baby, who died a few days later. Lauren Miner breaks down those details.
A murder investigation in Whitley County has led Kentucky State troopers to a man who is now facing federal kidnapping charges. According to officials, on March 16th, Jerry Johnson, who was pregnant at the time, was brought to Baptist Health Corbin by her boyfriend, Daniel Nance, with a gunshot wound. Johnson died the same day. Her baby, Amelia, was delivered but died days later. According to a criminal complaint, the same day Johnson was killed, Nance and 36-year-old David Huff held a person against their will at a Whitley County home, accusing the victim of stealing methamphetamine. Troopers say the victim was confined to a room for several hours, wanting a confession and $200. Huff was reportedly armed and hit the victim in the head with a handgun. At some point, the report says Nance left the home. Investigators say the victim eventually was allowed to leave and, while walking away, saw Nance return, getting out of his truck yelling, "Help me," to Huff. The victim claims the two returned and saw Jerry Johnson inside the truck. According to court documents, the victim also heard Nance and Huff yelling that she shot herself out of the window of the truck and sped off. Troopers say Huff visited the victim at his or her home several days later, demanding money. Huff is currently behind bars at the Whitley County Detention Center. In Lexington, Lauren Miner, WKYT.
As of last check, police have not charged Daniel Nance with murder. He did, however, plead not guilty to drug charges. And in West Virginia, a contest deadline is this week for school children to raise awareness about painkiller abuse. Attorney General Patrick Morrisey says the Kids Kick Opioids contest is open to elementary and middle school students. It can include poems, drawings, or anything that promotes awareness of painkiller abuse. The deadline to enter is Friday. The winning entry will be used in Morrisey's next statewide newspaper public service advertisement. And Narcan can now be obtained in vending machines in Las Vegas Valley. Nevada health officials say the easy availability of Narcan is making a major difference with opioid addiction in the southern part of the state. Narcan blocks the effects opioids have on the body and in some cases prevents an overdose. Being able to quickly get a hold of this medication can literally be the difference between life and death.
So Narcan, with it becoming more readily available in Nevada, it's being used more often, and we're seeing a lot of reversals of overdoses.
These machines will also eventually have other health-related items like hygiene kits, safe sex kits, and pregnancy tests, but right now they only have Narcan. In Jackson County, middle school students in the Club Reach are building warming stations for the homeless in their community. Reach is a program that helps kids realize that there is a need in their community, and the program started up in September, and each month they do a different service project. The month of March, they decided to build not one, but 2 warming stations that will be equipped with beds, food, and positive messages from students.
We've talked with the kids, and our hope is that schools from surrounding counties or maybe even around the state would see what's going on here in Jackson County, and that maybe we can network with those kids and come together and do these community service projects and just really reach this generation of kids to know that they can make a difference no matter how old they are.
Judd says one of the stations will be placed at the north end of the county, and when both stations are finished, a ribbon cutting ceremony will be held. And Berlin's Brandenburg Gate lost its illumination on Saturday as the German capital switched off the lights on its best-known tourist attraction to mark this year's Earth Hour. The global event, organized by environmental group WWF to push for action on climate change and other man-made threats to the planet, sees nearly 200 major landmarks around the world unplugged for its 13th annual edition. They include the Eiffel Tower, Empire State Building, Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil, and the Sydney Opera House. Now let's check in with Brandon Robinson for another look at your forecast.
Forecast this morning, the lights are coming on over the sunrise there, coming up over the hill in Hazard outside the WYMT studios. But again, a cold start to the morning, so make sure you bundle up. A little bit of light on the horizon there over Whitesburg as well this morning. Main Street still pretty quiet. Traffic will start moving along pretty soon here, getting ready for work and school. So be careful out there. Watch out for those school buses. A few clouds this morning across the area. Temperatures in the 20s area wide, so frost will be an issue. So give yourself a couple extra minutes to get out there and scrape that frost off, maybe a little more than a couple minutes. But the out-the-door forecast, we are going to see temperatures climb today, not as much as we would like, only close to 50 for daytime highs. Connor?
We'll have stories trending on WYMT.com next. Thanks for joining us on Mountain News this morning. You may have heard about the hospital in Maine with 9 pregnant nurses, but another hospital is giving that step a run for its money.